Welcome to In Confidence, hosted by me, Rosie Downing. In this podcast series, I speak to people who've been on surprising, often bumpy rides in their quest for personal and professional confidence, and to the experts who can help you get there. Research suggests that as much as 70% of our communication is non-verbal. Our posture, what we do with our hands, the expressions that flit across our faces all tell people how confident or lacking in confidence we are. Adrianne Carter is an expert in non-verbal communication. Using skills she's honed over 25 years, Adrianne shows people how to boost their impact personally and professionally by mastering their body language and facial expressions.
I'm a specialist in body language, and my particular expertise is the face and how the muscle movements of the face create different prototypical emotions. And when we understand those muscle movements, we can actually understand better how people feel. I can't read anybody's minds, but I can tell from certain muscle movements of the face how they might be feeling.
But can you tell how they're thinking and how they're feeling?
Oftentimes when I say to someone, maybe I've noticed something, and I'll say, "Oh, is this concerning you?" And they're like, "Did you just read my mind?" I'm like, no, but I've seen the muscle movements that go along with concern or fear or worry. So I ask a really good question. That's what I see. I ask a good question because I know there's something going on around that emotion. And then people feel incredibly heard, and it feels like I've read their mind. But I promise you, I do not know what's going on in people's minds. Well, I trained 15 years ago in America in the facial action coding system. So, I've been practicing this, and I'm very good at reading faces. So, but anyone can learn. Most people can learn how to read faces. The difference between me and most of the people is I've spent a lot of time doing it.
So you're picking up on tiny little things that people are communicating.
Yes.
So what are the kind of things that we might be giving away without realizing it?
So someone who is worried, concerned, anxious, fearful will often get forehead lines that go across that way. So you've just done it, but you've done it by raising your eyebrows.
Right.
So that comes along with surprise, which is always a really good sign to me because I know that someone's interested and I've surprised them. So then they're curious and they want to know more. So it's always a good sign to look for that one. But those forehead lines, when they're activated, there's something going on that the person's concerned about or apprehensive about. But you also get along with those is this. It's not a smile. The lips stretching towards the ears.
Yeah.
Again, worry, concern. And depending on the strength of the movements, you often see people do this.
Okay, that's biting your lip, biting the side of your
What
lip.
it's really doing is stopping it from going straight across.
And why are we stopping it?
Because we're trying to mask potentially how we feel.
Okay, so I will often bite my lip when I'm thinking.
Yep, that's another one, but that's not the lips stretching across. So this is biting lip.
Okay, biting your lip.
Yeah,
Anyone
but
who's
then
listening to this, Adrianne is simply just biting her lip.
yes, and then when I'm masking worry or concern, what's the difference?
Oh, wow. So the difference, I'm just going to describe it, is that the bottom of your lip is actually
Stretching towards the ears.
almost downwards as well.
Yeah.
And so the biting that's really interesting. It is a way of almost pulling it back with your teeth.
Yep.
Do you think there's an evolutionary reason for that?
I mean, there often is, evolutionary meanings given. So, for example, this is the facial expression I've discussed, which is nose wrinkling. So my nose wrinkled up.
Yeah.
Charles Darwin said in his book about emotions in man and animals,
Yeah.
we do that to stop something horrible coming into our bodies. And when we don't like something, the first thing we do is nose wrinkling.
We wrinkle our nose, and that stops something maybe going up our nose.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting because disgust is one of those really powerful emotions, isn't it? That in, for example, marriage guidance counseling, people say that if you see disgust on someone else's face, it's curtains the relationship.
Well, contempt is the main one for marriage guidance or relationship guidance because that's the one side half smile.
How does
So
that look?
which can,
Okay, so oh, that's really
so
interesting.
nothing going on
On
nothing
this
going on
side,
that side of my face,
yeah.
and on that side of the face, I do it go.
And what? And
So
so
it looks like
half,
a half
it
smile.
looks like a half smile. Okay, so what's actually again going on there on your face?
So it is a half smile, but only on one side of my face. One side of my face is doing nothing. It's
Yeah,
neutral. There's no muscle movements activated. But the other side of my face is that half smile. And the way to isolate that is to put your hands sort of up like that. I don't know how you could
yeah.
describe that for your listeners. And then and then that's how you see it in a
I
photograph
see.
or a
It's
video.
almost symmetrical. But
Yes.
whereas we've kind of psychoanalyzed what's happening with the biting of your lip, what do you think could be happening with your face if with the emotion of contempt? What are we trying to mask or
Well, the
communicate?
meaning behind that is I'm superior in some way. I'm
Okay.
better than you. I don't have respect for you. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
And when that one is seen in high levels in a relationship, the respect has gone from the relationship. Now, it's not to say you can't get it back.
Yeah.
You can, but it takes a lot of work and people have to be willing to do the work. But when relationship guidance counselors who understand the face see that, they do know that 85% of the time couples will break up
Right.
based on that one expression alone.
God, okay. Gotta watch. I've got
It's
to watch.
interesting, isn't it?
It's so interesting. So in a minute, I'd like to get into some practical, actionable tips that you can give to people listening that can help them feel and communicate confidence.
Yes.
But
Okay.
before we do that, I think one of the most important things is actually to build your own confidence in
I
yourself.
agree. I
So
agree.
is there anything that you can do for using your body language, your facial expressions to build your own confidence?
Yeah. The first thing is to become aware of what do you send with your body language
Mm.
and your facial expressions? What are the messages you're sending to other people? That's the first thing is become very aware of yourself. Because everyone thinks about body language is about reading other people. Actually, go internal first. Understand yourself, film yourself. I know people don't like doing that, or watch yourself in the mirror. What do you do habitually?
Yeah.
And the second thing is,
Oh,
once you've got
so
that awareness,
as you said that, I immediately sat up in my chair.
yes,
So I was
because you've
aware,
become aware of what you're now
I've
doing.
become aware. So posture is one thing. What are
Yeah.
some of the things that if someone is could become aware straight away, what are we looking out for?
Are you slumped down? Is your body
Mm.
language coming inwards, or do you feel comfortable? When we feel comfortable, we're quite happy to expand our body language. Our shoulders are back. Normally, we're upright. When we're not so confident, we make ourselves smaller.
Mm.
So, are you hiding your hands up your sleeves? Are you making sure your hands are in your pocket? Are you, s- just making yourself smaller in some way, hiding behind hair? There's lots of things that people do
Yes.
to hide themselves.
What's wrong with hiding your hands in your sleeve?
Well, hiding your hands in your sleeves is a clear sign to me that someone is anxious, nervous. That's not a confident gesture. If I
Mm.
need to hide my hands, I'm not confident.
Yeah.
So I would say to anyone who does that, pick and choose your times when you're doing it, because if you want to send a message of confidence and you're hiding your hands, up
Yeah.
your sleeves particularly, making yourself smaller, you're not coming across as confident.
Okay. So first step is awareness.
Yep.
Getting aware of how the kind of things that you're doing that, and as you say, watching yourself back, however uncomfortable that is. So
Yeah.
do you film people and show them?
Yeah, absolutely. When I do some presentation training, lots of people don't like public speaking. And
Yeah.
the very first thing I do is to film them doing a 2-minute talk speaking, because that's the message that they're giving out.
Yeah.
And is it one we want to send, or is it something we want to optimize? And once we've got that data, knowledge, then we can work from that point, because actually, okay, you looked really uncomfortable there. What was going on? Were you uncomfortable, or, was your suit jacket too tight? What is the basis? Because it might not necessarily be that they hate speaking.
Yes,
Their
that's a
skirt might
really
be
good
too
point.
tight.
That's a really good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sometimes beyond your control, beyond the physiological response.
Yes.
It's just that your
Yes.
outfit isn't very comfortable.
Yeah. And
I,
but that's sending a message. The
yeah,
audience, whoever they may be, doesn't know that it's the skirt too tight or the trousers too tight. They just see this person's not confident, this person's uncomfortable in some way. They
Mm,
draw their own messages. We all do it all of the time.
yeah.
I will never present in an outfit that I haven't test driven before
Really?
because I don't want to risk coming across as not as confident as I am because my dress is too tight or my
Yes.
trousers don't feel entirely comfortable because I know I'll be sending a message that I don't want to send. So the outfit I wear, particularly when I'm public facing, will be comfortable.
So you'll test it out before
Yeah.
you do it to make sure that you can raise your arms,
Yep.
and you can be your full self in your outfit.
Absolutely. I
That's
don't
really
want
good.
to worry about that. I
No.
don't want to worry. I want to be comfortable and I don't want anybody else to be reading the wrong message,
Yeah.
an uncomfortable skirt or dress.
So it can help you be more present.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So step one is awareness. What's
Yep.
next for building that confidence in yourself?
Signs of confidence are using the space around you, not making yourself small. I don't mean become dominant.
Yeah.
Be comfortable, relaxed body language, upright, so your posture's upright. Be conscious of your hands. That means you can gesture. Keep your gestures within a certain, no higher than your shoulders and no lower than your waist. So in that
Okay.
box,
Yeah.
um, if
Why
you
is that? Why?
because if you go too jazz hands, you
Yeah.
look a bit frantic, and that doesn't look confident either.
Okay.
And then if we go too low below our waist, that's what we call the danger zone. We don't want to be drawing
Suggestive.
attention.
Right.
We don't want to be drawing attention down there, male or female. That's not really what we're about.
Okay.
So that's why hands are important. But if you feel uncomfortable with your hands empty, get a clicker or hold a pen or hold something in your hand that you're not going to fiddle with.
Right.
Because what happens then, the brain relaxes and goes, oh, okay, this is safe. I'm holding something. It's fine. I don't need to worry. I don't need to panic. Because most people worry about what
Yeah.
to do with their hands and then they
Yes, a
look
lot of
better.
people do, don't they? So
Yeah.
hands seems to become a bit of a theme here. It's
Yes.
hiding our hands, it's worrying about what to do with our
Yeah.
hands. So you recommend having something in your hands
Yeah. Could
as
be
a
a pen, pencil, could be anything, something discreet, something that's not going to be like too obvious,
yeah.
or probably not a phone either, because that looks like you're ready to take call any second, so you're not fully present.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
once you're aware, you can then change and adapt. The other thing to do is to slow everything down
Okay. Why is that useful?
because we look and sound more confident when we slow everything down. Think
Mm.
about someone who's scurrying into a room. They don't look confident. Someone who strolls into a room. Now, I don't suggest you do this if you're late. If you're late, don't be strolling in with all the time in the world because there's nothing more annoying.
Yeah.
But if you are on time or early, slow your paces down to that room because instantly what will happen is the mind body physiology link is so intrinsically involved. Your brain will go, oh, it's okay. She's slow. I'm fine. All is good. All is well in the world. So
Yeah.
we consciously slow ourselves down. The other thing to mention is breathing.
Mm.
When we're worried, anxious, or nervous, we forget to breathe. So everything becomes a bit breathless and a bit fast. Just slow your breathing down. Feel loads more confident straight away. Slow your talking, your walking, and your breathing right down just a bit, and your nervous system will also relax with it too.
Yeah, and also what I've noticed is very often if I'm frantic or my energy is off, I will go very quickly and then I'll start telling myself, "Oh, you should have asked that. You should have said
Yes,
this." And that's distracting as well. Whereas as you say, if you're a bit slower, you can be more strategic about the way you're
absolutely.
communicating. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So, do you think confidence is something that you're born with or something you can learn?
I absolutely believe we can learn it.
Okay.
I don't think anyone is born confident. I don't think anyone is born unconfident. I
Mhm.
think all of our behaviors from childhood upwards are learned behaviors and we can change them. We can absolutely change them.
Okay. So, if someone came to you and they said, I'm just, let's talk about maybe social confidence.
Mhm.
I I just have a lot of trouble walking into a room full of strangers. What could they do to build their confidence? And when should they start that practice?
I mean, walking into anywhere,
Mm.
practice that. and be mindful of how you do it.
Okay.
So imagine you've got an event coming up and you know you're going to have to walk into a room full of strangers. Practice walking into the supermarket, practice walking into a shop as if you're walking into that event. So get your stride, understand how it feels in your body. So practice it, be mindful about that.
Yeah.
The other thing to say is when you walk into an event, the thing you shouldn't do is pick up your phone. This is not my phone, it's my clicker, but pick up
Yeah.
your phone and start looking at it because you completely look like you're less than confident.
Okay.
My best tip for that, when you've got to walk into a room, you don't know anybody,
Yeah.
is to look around as if you're looking for someone,
Mm-hmm.
because unconfident people don't do that. Look
Mm-hmm.
around as if look, and then look for their drink station, coffee, tea, biscuits, whatever it is. Look
Yeah.
for that and aim for that. Or say to somebody, I can't see the drink station anywhere. Any idea where that could be? You've
Yeah.
broken the ice. You're talking to someone. It's a really safe opener. You
Yeah.
can't get into trouble for that. It just looks so much better than scurrying in, looking at your phone, trying to hide.
Yes, because if you're communicating that you're doubting yourself, then other people are gonna
Yeah.
feel like that about you as well. Okay, so are there some facial expressions or body language that we can immediately identify as confident?
hmm Eye contact. Someone who is happy to have eye contact. The ideal eye contact in most situations is no more than 60 to 70% of the time. So you
Okay,
don't need to
it's
be
still quite high though,
staring.
isn't it?
It is quite high, but it's what we do with our friends when we're relaxed or our colleagues. We're
Right.
quite happy to do 60, 70% of the time. Any more than that, which is what makes the person doing it feel uncomfortable and the person receiving it
Yeah,
feel
it's
very
getting
uncomfortable.
into
We don't need to do that.
romantic
People often,
territory.
yes, absolutely. People often
Yeah.
think, oh, I need to make really good eye contact, and that means I'm going to stare at someone. You don't
Mm,
need to be doing that. You can look around, just as long as about 60 to 70% of the time you are
okay.
making eye contact with someone. That's a
Okay.
really good starting point
So why is eye contact so important?
because we trust people when we can see their eyes and they
Okay.
make eye contact with us. When people, when you think about somebody shifty, they've got
Mm,
sunglasses on, they're hiding their eyes in some way. We close our eyes when we don't like something, normal than a longer blink. When something you're in a conversation with someone, say, and they do this, there's something they're trying to shut out. Not necessarily us, but there's something about that conversation they want to shut out. When we see somebody's eyes, we trust them more. That's how we make contact with humans.
so it's
So
almost a way of saying, I will show you my eyes because I have nothing to hide.
yes, exactly that. When you bump into a friend in the street and you've got your sunglasses on, what does first thing you do is you raise your sunglasses because you're
Mm,
happy to make eye contact with them.
yes. There will be people listening to this who find eye contact really difficult.
Yep.
And sometimes that's because of a neurodiversity. Sometimes that's just because they
Yep.
find it really hard. Is there anything we
So
can do? Yeah.
yes, absolutely. This is one of my favorite tips, and this one really works,
Mm,
is to practice eye contact with yourself. So if you really don't, a lot of people don't like looking in the mirror. And don't let me go off this point because this is really important.
yeah.
But one of the ways that we become truly confident is when we like ourselves. The more we like ourselves, the more confident we become. But
Wow.
back to eye contact in the
Okay,
mirror.
I want to follow that
Start
up in a
with,
minute. Okay, so let's
yes,
go, let's go to the
start
eye
with
contact. Yeah.
5 seconds a day in the mirror. Only 5 seconds, looking at yourself in the mirror, not cleaning your teeth, not brushing your hair, not putting your makeup on, just purposefully stand in front of the mirror and make eye contact with yourself. No judgment. Oh, your hair's a mess. None of that.
Mm,
Just eye contact. 5 seconds. Next morning, 5 seconds. And when that becomes comfortable,
mm,
go to 10 seconds. Then build it up to 15 seconds and then
yeah.
20 seconds. And just keep doing that. And I've worked with many clients and they've done this, and it vastly improves their eye contact, but also their own self-confidence.
Right, I'm doing that tonight. Just, I'm going to be like Narcissus.
It's people say, oh, it's really vain. It's not really vain. You're practicing making eye contact with the person you know the best in the whole
Yeah.
world.
And if you can't
There's
look
no
yourself
threat.
in the eye, then yeah.
You never look anybody else in the eye. So
Okay.
start with yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm really interested in what you just said about if you can't, if you don't like yourself, is that what you said? If you don't like
Yeah.
yourself, you
Yep.
can't build true confidence.
No.
Can you say
True
more?
self-confidence
Yeah.
comes from when we like ourselves. And that's, and it could, I'm not talking about vanity, and I'm not talking about
Mm.
narcissism. I'm talking about, oh, I did a really good job there. This mind chatter that we've got going on all the time.
Yeah.
It's like paying attention to when you do something great, and that's how you build your confidence. We take little steps. We don't have to go and do the great big thing sometimes. Sometimes we just have to take the little steps every day and notice that and be aware of it. And when you truly like yourself, true self-confidence becomes a whole lot easier.
Mm.
And it's not the same for every situation. When I go onto a stage and I talk about my subject, I am truly confident because I love it and I know I'm really good at it. If you ask me to go and talk about, I don't know, sewing, I would completely lose all of my self-confidence because I have no idea. I'm not a good sewer. I've tried a couple of times. I can't do it. So
Right.
my self-confidence is like, oh no, can't do that. So, we don't need bursting confidence for everything. I don't need to be good at sewing. So, that's okay. If I've got no confidence around that topic, I'm good with that. But in my day-to-day life, I know I'm a good communicator and I have great confidence around that. And I like the fact that I've studied all these years and I put the effort in to build my confidence. I
Mm.
like it. I like myself. I'm happy with where I am.
And if you do that exercise where you are looking yourself in the eye,
No
then
judgment. Yeah,
that lack of confidence that you feel around not knowing anything about sewing, for example, that's something that you can have some more compassion for
absolutely.
because you're being honest with
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah,
rather than,
absolutely. And
yeah.
I think perfection comes into it a little bit too. A
Mhm.
lot of people want to be perfect. It's okay not to be perfect. It's absolutely fine to not have everything. We don't always know. I when I train people, because one of the things that public speakers always worry about is they're going to get asked some questions that they might not know the answer to.
Yeah.
I have a phrase that, and I've used it many times. If someone asks me a question and I don't know the answer, I will just say, "Do you know what? That's a really good question. I've never been asked that before. So I want to know the answer to that now too. So I'm going to
Yeah.
go find out and I will let you know what I find out about that. And that takes the pressure off me to be perfect and to know everything. And I can go into any meeting and be confident because I've got an answer ready made. No one is going to catch me out. That helps incredibly with my confidence.
Yes. Is being confident with exactly where you're at. And it feels like meeting yourself where you're at starts with looking yourself in the
Yes.
eye. Yeah. I think one of the problems that people have is not knowing how things are going to turn out. And
Hmm.
if you can't prepare for something,
Yeah.
what can you do? How can you
I
prepare
mean,
to be unprepared? Yeah.
in this day and age, there's not a lot we can't prepare for with Google and ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
There's not a lot that we cannot go and find the answers to. But the thing about confidence is it's not about control.
Yeah.
True confidence is not about control. Control actually is based in the emotion of fear.
Yeah.
So the more we don't know the unknown, the
Mm.
more fearful we become and the less confident we become. So if you can just like, right, you can research as much as you can. I gave that advice to my son about what potentially would happen. I didn't know
Mhm.
exactly, but sometimes just having a conversation with somebody else,
Yeah.
like a plain old simple conversation, can do wonders for someone's confidence.
Yes. Saying your fears out loud.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what I love is we've started to get into almost like a dual conversation because I was asking you about what are some of the things that we know that we see in really confident people, and we started to talk about eye contact.
Mm,
And then what I love to do is have two conversations at the same time, one of my favorite things. But we were also looking at what we can do to build our own confidence.
yeah.
And there was a link, wasn't there? Look yourself in the eye and
Yes.
look other people in the eye. Are there any other tells, for example, that a confident person has that we can also build in ourselves, in our morning routine, for example?
I can't think of anything you could build into your morning routine apart from make a decision. One of the things I say to my clients is make a decision about how your day is going to be. And that doesn't mean, I think the train's going to be late. Oh, they're going to hate me, or so and so is going to be cross with me. That's focusing on what you don't want. Make a decision and focus on what you do want. Now, it's not always going to go to plan, but it's a much better mental attitude, which helps your confidence by focusing on what you do want. And I tell my clients to do this little trick to help them focus on what they want. I'll do it with you. Have you
Yeah.
seen a purple car lately?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so they're quite rare.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want you to find a purple car in the next couple of days. I guarantee, and I'd guarantee a lot of money, that you will see a purple car.
Okay.
So that's your only job, is to focus on seeing a purple car. You don't have to go frantically looking for one. Just have your awareness that you are going to see a purple car in the next couple of days. And you will see one. I have had so many messages of people going, "Oh, you won't believe it. I've just seen a purple car. My neighbour's got a purple car and I never noticed it before."
That's
I've had
so
so
funny.
many messages. But what you're doing really is training your brain to focus on what you want
Yeah.
rather than what you don't want. Because as humans, 75% of our thoughts are negatively biased. So we automatically go into what we don't want. So I don't want the train to break down. I don't want to be late. I don't want to blah, blah, blah. Train yourself what you do want. And things will flow a lot easier when you get good at it, which also builds your confidence.
Yeah.
These are all tips and tricks that I give people to just help them feel more at ease in their own minds.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, confidence comes from within. I also ask them to push themselves a little bit. And I'm not talking a lot. It could just be something really simple
Yeah.
that they feel really uncomfortable about. I know one of my clients didn't like to go anywhere on their own, nowhere. So the first thing I asked her to do was like, I know you don't want to go nowhere, but could you just pop to the corner shop and buy a bar of chocolate? She loved chocolate. Couldn't go to the supermarket. Okay, I'm not asking you to go to the supermarket. Just go to the corner shop. She did it. Okay. Okay, next time can we go to the supermarket? Not sure. Okay, just go to the corner shop again. Was everything okay? Yeah, everything was fine. But the shopkeeper was really nice. We had a little chat actually. We've never talked to him before. And these little things for someone who's not feeling confident, and it can be anything, but just little by little, that's how we build confidence.
Great. So it's little bits of exposure that
Yes,
show you are safe
yes,
and there's something that you can learn for next time.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. So I love these. These are little things that you can do in your morning routine. You can look
yes,
yourself in the eye. You can ask yourself, what do I want
yes,
today? And
yes,
what's one tiny little area where I'm going to take
yeah,
some steps? Take
yeah.
one step. Okay.
Take one step. One
Yeah.
step's enough, and then congratulate yourself. I did
Yes.
it. I did that
That's
one step. I
important, isn't
survived.
it? Yeah.
Everything was fine. Okay, I'll take another step tomorrow. And it doesn't have to be a big step ever. It's those little shifts, those micro shifts that actually make the huge difference.
Yeah. So I think people get very overwhelmed. And I think the other thing
Yeah.
is that people see someone else as really confident and
Yes. And
they
they've got it
will
sorted.
exactly. And then they will compare themselves to that person and then that will make them feel even less confident.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So what are some of the other signs of a confident person?
They look comfortable and they look relaxed in their own skin.
Yeah. So how do you
Um,
do that?
I mean, the only way you can really do that is if you feel it.
Right.
But you can fake it till you make it. Now, I'm not a big fan of the whole fake it till you make
I was
it.
going to ask you about this. Yeah.
But in this situation, yes, I am a fan of it because I think you trick your body language
Yeah.
into more confidence. It will trick in here to more confidence too, in your mind.
So does that really work? Is there science to back it up? Do we know that this have you had this work with your clients? Because I think this is one of the
Have
questions I get
you?
asked all the time is can I fake it till I
Yes.
make it? Yeah.
With confidence, yes. I mean, I wouldn't go into a big situation and try and fake it till you make it. Let's start small. I'm a great
Pretend you're a
believer in
lawyer when you aren't.
yeah, let's not ever do that. But if you like walking into a shop is nerve-wracking for you, pretend you're confident. See
Okay.
how that feels, and then next time, go a bit with little bit of a swagger. So you're just training your brain that you are, I'm okay, because that's really what our brain is looking out
Yeah.
for us to do. Am I okay?
Yes.
So that's what we're trying to do. So we're trying to trick our nervous system and our brain and our mind that we are okay, which
Okay.
we
So
can do with our body language.
what is really going on then? Because there must be something that our mind is telling us when we're walking around, and either we're closed and
Mhm.
we're closing ourselves off, or we are open and we're walking
Yeah.
tall. What's our mind telling us? Why
The more
evolutionarily,
you,
or yeah.
the more you tell yourself you're not confident, the more
Hmm.
unconfident you will look and you will feel. It's kind of like a feedback loop.
Right.
Whereas if you pretend you're confident, and it might not come easily at first, but the more you practice it, the easier it will get. So changing your body language and
Mm.
practicing doing that to what you want to feel will actually work if you persist with it.
Wow. Okay. So this is again, this we're lengthening our morning routine, but this is something you could either do before
Yes.
your day. You could do
Yeah.
that for 2 minutes
You can
before
do it
you,
anytime.
yeah.
Yes.
Or you can do it
Yeah.
before a big meeting where you need to come across as confident. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. And we're basically just tricking our brain into
Yeah.
doing what we want it to do,
So
not going on automatic, which is often not what we want.
yeah, so we're becoming intentional, and instead of faking it till we make it, because I, like you, I have a hard time with that expression,
Me
but I
too.
like to think about it as acting as if.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
Yeah.
act as if, you've mentioned this before, act as if you're confident. What
Yeah.
about borrowing someone else's energy, walking like someone else?
I'm always a bit nervous of that
Yeah.
because the people who come across as the most confident are people who are authentically themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So when we try to walk like somebody else or talk like somebody else or act like somebody else, we're not being ourselves.
Yeah.
And actually, to be truly confident and to come across as truly confident, we have to be authentically ourselves.
Yeah, okay. So how might you work with someone to access that, if it doesn't come, if you say walk like you're confident and they're like,
Mhm.
I don't know what that feels like.
So I would show them how
Okay.
to walk like that. And,
Yeah.
there's probably loads of videos that people can find on the internet about how to walk walk as if you are confident
Yeah.
and practice it. It basically just comes down, keep acting as if
Yeah.
until it becomes second nature.
How does that, ask yourself, how does that feel? Yeah, where
Yes.
do you feel it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, people I coach often come to me, and one of the first things they ask for is they want me to help them come across as more senior.
Hmm.
So, they've got, maybe it's a job interview, or maybe they're in meetings with people who could be advantageous to them, who are more senior to them, and
Yeah.
they want to show up as more senior. Are there any body language or facial cues that you can use that just signal seniority?
I mean, I always say when I'm talking negotiations, I train and I sit in some of my client negotiations. The
Yeah.
most senior person in the room is often the person who sits at the head of the table, who takes the prominent seat,
Oh,
and will always be the last to arrive. I'm not saying they're late, but they're the last to arrive. And this is one of my favorites. This one I definitely recommend they all try. Be the last person standing. So if everyone else is sat down, make sure you're the last person. I used this very effectively in negotiation a few years ago. I was with a colleague and I said to her, it was two women, and we were meeting about four or five, it was about five men. And I said, we are the last people to sit down because if we sit down too soon, they're not going to give us the respect and we're going to look less than confident. Anyway, she caved a lot earlier than me. But I was the last person standing. And there's one gentleman, and he was just being a gentleman. He wasn't trying to dominate me in any way. He was like, please sit down. I was like, no, you please sit down. And we went on about this for about a minute or two, which in this circumstance is quite a long time. But I was not sitting down. And that whole meeting, they
mm.
all deferred to me.
Wow.
All of them deferred. When we came out, my friend said, that I have never seen anything like that in my whole life. She said it was awkward, it was embarrassing, It was amazing.
But you held your ground.
I
And
held my
actually, these
ground.
are all things that you could do, even if you don't feel naturally confident. These are things that you can still do. So you pick the
Yeah.
power seat at the table, which is at the head of the table, unless it's a
Or the
round
central
table,
position.
central
Central
position.
position.
Okay.
Take up your space. Take up
Yeah.
your I don't go over into other people's space because that's annoying. The other thing is if you're sat down when someone
Yeah.
comes in and they talk to you and they're stood up, stand up immediately.
Right. Because otherwise it's
Put
like they're
yourself on the
talking
same level. Yeah.
to a baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I understand that one, and I understand with the table why sitting at the head, because there's connotations of the head of the
Yeah.
table being the
Yeah.
person in charge. But what about the last person to stand up or sit down? What's going on there?
I mean, it's about not sitting first. It's a power struggle, basically.
Mm,
You've seen President Trump with his power struggles with the handshakes. He does that on purpose because he wants to show his domination. And
mm,
the same with sitting down. Most people don't think about sitting down first as a power struggle, but it actually is.
it
It
is.
actually is. And the person who's confident, if I wasn't confident enough, I'd have sat down because this gentleman, who was a very nice gentleman, please sit down. No, you sit down. I just wasn't giving in to, it was my friend. Oh, it was very funny. I wasn't giving in to being dominated. Not that he was trying to dominate me in a horrible way. He was being gentlemanly.
Mm,
I don't want that relationship in this negotiation. I want to meet you as an equal.
yeah.
So I'm not going to sit down first.
So again, it's being really intentional about how you're showing up and what you're
Mhm.
communicating.
Yes.
So, one of the other questions I often get asked, and this does tend to be from women, but men have asked me as well, is how do I come across as assertive without being called, in the women's case, it's often without being called bossy, but sometimes it's
Yes.
without being called aggressive.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I mean, I one of the ways is to slightly, male or female, soften your tone of voice if you've been told that you are aggressive or bossy. I have had that said to me in the past,
Have you?
not recently, but I will soften my voice. If I think I'm coming across as a bit aggressive or a bit bossy, I'll
Hmm.
just soften my voice just slightly. I'm not going to take it to silly girl level,
No.
but
Show
I'm
me
also
how. What would you say if I was quite a sensitive mm, counter partner and you don't want to offend me? What
I
would
would just soften my voice just a little bit. So
just like that?
a bossy voice is dominant, it's clipped, it's sharp,
Yeah.
whereas I just soften it just a little bit. I
Okay.
don't want to be seen as girly,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to come across as too dominant and too aggressive. And
Yeah.
actually, when you go quieter, you actually sound more confident.
Really do. There was such a minuscule shift in your voice
Yes.
there, but
Yeah.
immediately I felt like I was safer with the
Yes.
second voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other tips? Anything else you can do?
Um,
That one's golden.
this is for
So
not showing
not,
assertiveness
yeah,
or
so to be assertive but not aggressive.
I mean, one of the things that you can do is literally just go back a little bit. If you feel it's getting a bit intense, just slightly, you can see I'm just doing it very gently, slightly going back.
Yeah.
We lean into things we like, we lean away from things we don't like. But when we want to seem less of a threat, just taking ourselves back just a little bit can just reduce that intimidation and that assertiveness just slightly. If you
Yeah.
stood up, just a half step back, not a big step back, because that would send another message. Half step back so you're not as dominant, and maybe shifting the feet if you stood up, feet directly linked on as if we were stood together and my feet were pointed at yours. If I wanted to just take my potential intimidation backwards, I'd just turn my feet to the side slightly.
Wow.
These little shifts
Yeah.
make a big difference to how other people feel.
And with the space one, it's really interesting because you're again communicating without using any words. I'm confident enough to give you the space you need, and I'm going to
Exactly that.
take the space that I need and trust that we're
Yes,
going to be able to resolve this.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. That is so useful. I feel like all of these tips are absolutely golden. If
I
there,
hope
my
so.
last question is, if there's one if there was one tip that you had to lose all of your other strategies, but if there was one thing that you could just keep coming back to help people build confidence, which one would be your go-to?
Slow everything down. Slow the walking, the talking, and the breathing down. That has the most impact on yourself and then how you come across and how people perceive you.
So if you're listening to this today, that's your challenge, to slow everything down.
Yeah.
And then in that way, you're going to notice a lot more. You're going to feel a
Yep.
lot more in control. It's also
Yes.
going to get the parasympathetic nervous system kicking in.
Yeah.
So you feel calmer. Okay, I'm going to take this into the rest of my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Where can people, I know people are going to want to learn more from you. Where
Okay.
can they go?
So TikTok, my username on TikTok is at Adrianne Body Language, or LinkedIn. They're my two main channels. I am on Instagram as well and YouTube, but the two channels that I sort of focus on the most are LinkedIn, Adrianne Carter, and TikTok.
Adrianne, thank you so much. It's been really,
My
really
pleasure.
fab
Thank you.
talking to you. Yeah. What a fascinating conversation about the physical behaviours that signal confidence with Adrianne Carter. I was really struck by the idea that liking yourself is the foundation of self-confidence. This podcast is designed to be practical. I want to actively help you boost your confidence. For that reason, each episode is accompanied by a short Substack post with a tool or an exercise to help you apply the ideas we've explored in your own life. You can find those by subscribing to In Confidence on Substack, and these posts are free for season 1 only. And if you have a question for me or a comment on one of the episodes, or you just want to say hi, you can email dearinconfidence@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp 07377 231 025. That's all from me. See you next time.